145 of TrueHouse. I'm just going to start Instagram as well, so please bear with me. And good evening to Instagram as well. This is Justin House, or I am Justin House, and this is episode 445 of TrueHouse. Okay, first time I'm using the Pixel 6 Pro for live streaming on Instagram. Somebody's there, welcome, whoever you are. Identify yourself. It doesn't let me know who's watching, but I can see there are people watching, so I'm always very grateful and humbled by that. Just straight away off the bat, guys, okay, this is what I'm endeavoring to do, is to be better, is to get better at this. A casual observer might say, wow, dude, you've done 445 streams. You know, how many do you need to be good? The answer is always, forever, just keep going, because the dark art of live streaming, he says, so there you go, case in point, just make a quick mic adjustment here, is, look, you know, I just want to be better at this. And especially tonight, the episode I'm focusing on tonight, that's one of the biggest issues, is I've just demonstrated my own shortcoming, is that my personality, the way I'm hardwired, I'm extremely aware, like acutely aware, that I am very verbose, extremely wordy, and B, I'm ponderous and take a long freaking time to get to the bloody point. So the very first person that's going to level criticism at me is me. I will take the piss out of myself, I will ridicule myself, and I will call myself out, because that's me, you know. The positive thing is that I know about it, and the other thing is that I'm not gonna get bent out of shape and go, oh, you must change, Justin, you must be, you know, Mr. Curation and curate yourself and edit on the fly. It is a live stream. It is massively unedited. I don't have Final Cut Pro. I'm not an editor, and therefore what you see is what you get. Okay, so with that being said, I'm just going to talk tonight about Dopesick. That's the subject matter. I just wanted to give that little bit of explanation at the top of the hour, is just to say, look, for regular viewers, you'd be used to this by now. For new viewers, you'd be like, okay, if you're used to watching 30-second stuff online, this is not for you. If you're used to people, sugar coating life and themselves, or swerving the truth, this is also not for you. So yeah, let that be said, that especially with tonight, what I'm going to talk about tonight, you know, a lot of people would say this is a controversial subject, and hey, life's controversial. So look, Michael Keaton is the star, or the main sort of well-known name of Disney's Dopesick. I recently deleted the app, Disney's app, because I got pissed off, like a lot of people did, when Disney fired Gina, the stunning Gina Carano, and the whole Uyghur Muslim thing. You know, just yeah, again, I don't want to get political, but it's no secret that the duplicitous, hypocritical nature of Disney being just literally an industrial level succubi. Okay. Sorry, it's just YouTube telling me I'm live. Okay, I'm ready to go. Okay, so yeah, check here. All right, so here we go. Look, tell you what I've done tonight. I've taken the unprecedented, well, not unprecedented, I've done it a few times, but the slightly unusual measure of this. And obviously, for anyone listening, you won't know what I just held up there, but anyone watching, I've actually got some show notes tonight. It is not a script, this is scriptless, but I've literally taken my yellow Rogan-esque A4 legal notepad here. Just a couple of mentions as well. Obviously, it's Wednesday, December the 1st, I believe. I am 631 days into my personal departure from society. So I did the lockdown thing. I say lockdown, but I've been living my life as I did before. So today is day 631 for me, okay? So just a quick note there before I proceed, all right? So yeah, we're officially into the whole Christmas month thing now. Day 631 for me, with swerving COVID. I'm gonna, just like I say, that's it. All right, that's just a quickie for me. All right, I'm going to take the view that you may have seen Disney's Dopesick, or if you haven't, I'm letting you know about it. I purposely haven't researched it. I literally only when I re-uploaded the Disney app, I just thought, because I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, I just recently did that, and I saw Dopesick on there. And the minute I saw that it was about the Sackler family, Sackler, the infamous, notorious Sackler family, I zoned in and thought, all right, this is going to be something for me, because of my real life experience with the subject matter. So the Sackler family, I'll tell you what I'll do. What I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to literally consult the iPad, and I'm just going to, come on, Justin. Here we go. Bear with me. Okay. I'm just going to wiki this, all right? Look, I don't like wiki. We know wiki lies. We know Wikipedia is, again, caveat, pinch of salt, all right? Because Wikipedia is massively corrupt and tells absolute, bare whoppers, huge whoppers. This is, bear in mind, my live stream is called TrueHouse because I focus on the truth. The Sackler family is an American family who founded and owned the pharmaceutical companies Purdue Pharma and Mundi Pharma. Now, you may not have heard of Mundi Pharma, M-U-N-D-I, but you will have all heard of oh God, I'm blanking. Purdue, sorry, my eyesight's not too great. Purdue Pharma. Some members of the family have faced lawsuits regarding over-prescription of addictive pharmaceutical drugs. Okay, so that's what tonight is about. It is about prescription. A good friend of mine, a guy I'm very fond of, called Chris Bell, made an extremely effective documentary called Prescription Thugs, and Chris he's known as an American independent documentary maker. He rose in terms of globally being known for, I think it was 2007. He did a very good documentary called Bigger, Stronger, Faster, and Bigger, Stronger, Faster was like a lens on bodybuilding and the use of performance enhancing drugs in bodybuilding. So I was going to say that the two go hand in hand, but again, the truth of it is, with drug use in bodybuilding, that extends beyond the parameters of just, I want to take these performance drugs to get bigger muscles. And I'm giving a particularly naive take there. The inclusion of analgesia or analgesics, painkillers, opioids, opiates, and I'm going to explain the difference between the two. In fact, I should do that before I go any further. Again, to be clear, guys, I'm not looking at wiki on this. My understanding of opioid versus opiates, and this is my own, kind of writing here. This is my own scribble. Has always been that an opiate, okay, the opiates tend to be the actual poppy itself. So if you were to go to Afghanistan and walk in a poppy field and derive opium, morphine, poppy, the actual flower, an opiate, heroin. So a morphine, a codeine, opium itself, in and of itself, the properties, the actual unmessed with, unsynthesized, au naturel version is an opiate. Okay, an opioid is not found in nature. I suppose that would be the most reductive. Again, I don't like the online descriptions of this. This is just certainly in my life experience, understanding the distinction between an opiate and an opioid. And often you hear the catch-all phrase, if we're painting very broad strokes here, the opioid crisis, like the border crisis, the opioid crisis, okay? So yeah, it is relevant. I suppose it is important that I do make that distinction before we delve into Dopesick, okay? I'm going to talk about probably about 35, 40 minutes tonight. So it's not synthesized. It's if you just in your mind's eye think of an opiate as being more natural, and an opioid is what mankind, humans have messed with and derived a synthetic version of. And of course, that's how you explore the engineering of a substance and synthetically knock out, whether you're buying over-the-counter codeine or whatever. Side note: don't underestimate codeine, guys. It's right up there with morphine. Don't make the schoolboy error of thinking, oh, it's only codeine. It's right there with morphine. Don't possibly more so than morphine. Okay. All right. So Purdue, which is the Sackler family, have a reputation for being pretty evil because this is one aspect of Dopesick that I felt was portrayed pretty accurately. My understanding, because of my prescription of these drugs, that I've been prescribed these drugs for so many years. Currently, very pleased to report, obviously, I don't use these anymore. And this family that the image they portray is one of philanthropy. They take a very philanthropic stance to donations and art galleries and the Tate this and that, and just they're like any sociopath, like any extremely wealthy person, like a Bill Gates or anyone. It's you don't need me to state the obvious, and the obvious is if you take what would be the right word? Not purview, or just take a view. Just look at the optics of this. I know I'm using words like optics. Again, it's a bit political, but whether we're talking about a mark of the beast, Zuckerberg, or a Bill Gates, the murdered Jeffrey Epstein piece of human shit. I suppose I could abbreviate that word. I'll just call them POS. POS, POS, piece of shit, okay? Or POS, piece of human shit. So there are people out there like Mark Zuckerberg, like Bill Gates, the Sackler family. These people are, to my mind, far, far, far worse than, a Charlie Manson or a Jack the Ripper or, anyone that's off, say, 10 people. So if you just, I know it sounds like a radical thing to say, but show me a serial killer. Just, I don't know, Ted Bundy. All right, Ted Bundy was pretty hardcore, but my point is this: just because these people are in the public eye and offer a public service, they're still slaughtering hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. It's just that they're not doing it in an alleyway with a knife in a graphic way. Does that make sense? And that's something I feel extremely strongly about. We as a society, I got to get this point across because it's relevant. We have, again, it's an optic thing, it's how you view things. We think, Bill Gates, yeah, a bit of a weirdo, whatever. But Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and the Sackler family, these people that are, a Jeff Bezos, these people cause more harm on an industrial scale. They cause more depression, death, suicide, murder, lives being snuffed out, literally. Again, just because if I said to you, "Oh, Mr. Smith is a murderer," he's been arrested for cutting up 10 prostitutes in 10 alleyways. But oh, that's disgusting, Justin. What a disgusting, reprehensible, abhorrent human being. What a terrible act. And this guy's disgusting. He cut the throats of 10 people I'm describing it in a very filmic way, some dark, wet, London or New York alleyway. This guy's just, some crazy Hollywood-esque movie serial killer, right? Just bear with me on this. So you've got that image in your head, right? You've got the image in your head of some freak in a raincoat going, yeah, you whores, you're all the same, and just getting a nasty, glistening blade and cutting their carotid, yeah? Big arterial spray on the wall, replete with reflection in puddles, really, really filmic Hollywood shit, right? Think of that. You got it? Now think of someone on an industrial scale murdering through addiction, through suicide, depression, causing people to be skint, the creation of the drug, the desire for the drug to be so potent because all the inventors only desire is profit. These people literally live and breathe for profit, that they don't, excuse my language, give a fuck about me, you, your grandparents, your girlfriend, your baby. They literally, I try to not swear on this show anymore. I'm trying to be a bit more careful with how I speak, but what I won't change is my talking points. And to be extremely clear, these sociopaths, and again, I absolutely lump in someone like Mark Zuckerberg, and certainly Bill Gates. And of course, look at the distraction now. I mustn't get too distracted by this, but the distraction now with the Maxwell, the Ghislaine trial. But my point is, I've got to lump in people at big pharma level, Purdue Pharma, the Sackler family, in at the same level of disgust. Okay, they're just doing far more people, and you're just not seeing them pull out their blade. That's the only difference, guys. All right, so I know I've had a little rant there, but it's important that if anyone's listening to this, that you understand exactly what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with. And am I a lawyer? Am I can I pull out? Oh yeah, look at this proof. Well, the proof is there. Okay, the proof is there. So like I say, make no mistake. On a small scale, your backstreet murder. On an industrial scale, these people are offing hundreds of thousands / millions of humans. Right. Personally, I got involved in this in August 95, okay? I'm going to try and speed things up now a little bit. All right, I've taken like 15 minutes to get to this point, but I had to give context. I have to give, well, I don't have to, but I'm telling you, I do in my standards, because I can't do a live stream and go, listen to me, because, right? No, listen to me because I've lived it, and listen to me because everything that leaves my mouth is not from a textbook, is not from a screen, and I haven't heard it. You can hear a fart in the wind. I can hear a police siren. I'm not a second-hand, third-hand bloke. I speak about things that I've physically done, that I've physically experienced, and have either... Anyway, you get my point, right? You get my point. So in August 95, as a 23-year-old, when I moved to London, living in Chiswick, that's the first time I had my run-in with something at this level, okay? The drug in question was called Nubane, okay? The actual proper chemical generic name is nalbuphine hydrochloride. The trade name is called Nubane, Nubain, okay, Nubane. Nubane was an epidemic in bodybuilding, okay? I discovered it in August 95 because it was something that existed in the bodybuilding community, and it was promoted as something to help with performance and help with recovery and injuries and pain. Okay, I was pretty naive. I was 23. I was young, dumb, full of cum, and like I say, I'm not going to get there's no need for me to, anyway, look, I tried this, okay? I tried this, and this was my first experience with something that powerful that I didn't appreciate what addictive properties um, a drug that looked relatively innocuous might have. Okay, now in terms of administration, let me speak about administration. I mean the way you get it into your body, okay? You know, do you stick it in your palm and swallow it? Is it an oral pill? Do you puncture your skin through either an intramuscular, i.e. perpendicular to a muscle, i.e. 90-degree right angle, a deep intramuscular injection with a needle, obviously, and I'm being, I'm being obvious, okay? Or, is it, so there's three versions, of course, in terms of administering with a needle. So I've mentioned intramuscular. In terms of shallowness, let me say subcutaneous. So I should probably backtrack and say subcutaneous first. Okay, so basically you're not going perpendicular to the muscle, you're going relatively shallow, and it's in the surface fat. That's what subcutaneous means, where something is, like people when they put insulin in, yeah? A diabetic, here we go, let's get real. A diabetic will jab their insulin in a subcutaneous way. You're not going into the muscle, you're going into body fat beneath your skin. Okay, it's a surface level shot, it's pretty shallow. So that's subcutaneous, sub-Q. Next step, intramuscular, you're going deep, okay? Generally speaking, this is where people like me, when I was, deep into bodybuilding, no pun intended, performance enhancing drugs, androgenic anabolic steroids, not corticosteroids, androgenic anabolic being growth giving, steroids. Okay, this is something that is practitioners in the physical culture sector of bodybuilding, the pageantry of bodybuilding would do, and I did do. Number three, train spotting. Okay, I know I'm being an arse, making comments like that, but again, purely for visual. If you're listening to this live stream or if you're watching me on camera again, think of, again, it's probably a dickhead example to give, but intravenous. That's obviously in terms of administering something in its most effective way. Obviously, it's in a vein. You don't need to be well versed in life to realise that. That was me, okay? I'd had little to no experience with steroids at this point. I was a guy that would take protein powder and go to the gym, and for inexplicable reasons, I was at that time open-minded and that much of a sensation seeker that when I read the patient leaflet in the insertion box of my first box of DuPont Nubane, just you had the option of going subcutaneous, intramuscular, and intravenous. So Justin went to option three. I think the very, very, very first shot was intramuscular. And then, of course, my friend who I was with, we were like, oh, let's just go to option three, which, of course, we did and never looked back. So, yes, as a guy now, as I'm approaching 50 in January, I can look back, and go, that's 27 years ago, you absolute dickhead, Justin. What on earth were you thinking? You've come from a good background. My dead parents would not be proud. Obviously, this all came out in the wash. Everyone knew it. Again, this is with TrueHouse. I'm not here to insult anyone's intelligence by feeding you lies. Okay, this is not me diluting what I did. I have to face up to what I did. This was I hate this word. When people talk about not a doorway, a gateway. Sorry, gateway. This was my gateway into going more hardcore. So look, I did it, and it rapidly introduced me into a world of painkillers. I didn't know until I tried prior to that, I'd taken what everyone else takes, a bit of ibuprofen, a bit of aspirin, a bit of this, bit of that. Like, oh yeah, I've got a headache, or I've got a bad back. Oh yeah, take some. What do we humans do? Oh, Anadin, aspirin, ibuprofen. It's like, oh yeah, By the way, many years later, my renal failure and my subsequent 4 years on dialysis, culminating in my living donor kidney transplant, which I've now had for 8 years, happened from ibuprofen. Ironically, it's caused by NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because it's relevant. It's relevant, okay? So this led me, again, I don't like the word gateway, but you could kind of say it's a gateway drug. My gateway drug was more or less end of the line. Newbane became something that overran bodybuilding from 95 till 2005. The next decade went by in something of a blur. Again, I speak for many. If you speak to anyone, any Gen Xer, anyone at my age, that either knew me personally or and guys, when I went to Venice Beach, yeah, let me just clear this up really quick. I'm not. This is not. I'm not proud of what I did, guys. I'm not saying, hey kids, try this. No. The messaging here. Let me be clear. The messaging here is, hey kids, under no circumstances do this. Okay. Here's Justin House, third person, saying, cautionary tale. Let me tell you something. Don't do this. Really, don't try this at home. Don't try it. Thank God Newbane stopped, i.e. the importation, the production of it actually stopped. I don't think I'll be here. I've buried 6. Let me say that. I've buried 6. And of those 6, 4 were what I would call very serious friends, inseparable friends that I saw every single day and did everything with, work, play, train, work, play, train. These are not just casual gym friends. Of those 6 dead friends, 4 were very serious friends. All gone. None of them saw 50. None of them. All right? So I'm a cautionary tale. There's nothing cool about what I'm saying. There's nothing like, oh yeah, Just, that's really hardcore, mate. Well done. No. If you do this, you're an idiot. If you do this, you're seriously playing Russian roulette. So I'd unwittingly, because I didn't at any point think, oh, this will end in tears. This will cause me to spend everything. This will cost me everything. This will cost me, great chunks, great swathes, whatever, of my career and personal relationships and girlfriends going to pot and friendships going to pot and seriously impacting my. Again, it flies in the face of the fact that I came from a little town, a coastal town, which is, funny enough, where I'm at now, Bournemouth in Dorset. Many would say, dude, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You had loving parents and you went to a good school and your parents loved you and supported you and you had, I was the kid that got the grifter at Christmas and then I got a BMX and then I got a skateboard and, I got my Star Wars toys. Many would say, oh, go away. Sorry, it's back now. So I had a little glitch there on Instagram. Many would say, you spoiled bastard. I just had a very nice upbringing, okay? So I'm not going to talk about any more than that, but because it's not relevant. But suffice to say, from as far back as I can remember, from like little Justin, 3, 5, whatever, I was looked after. So what on earth was I doing at 23? Going the route of Newbane. Maybe I thought it was cool. Maybe I thought this will get me acceptance. It's like I'm writing a book at the moment called In Exclusion. It's not a real word, by the way. It's a portmanteau. In exclusion. Think about the perversity of that. Anyway, that's just something I'm going to say. I'm on page 400-ish. In exclusion, it's a story very much encompassing what I'm talking about tonight, and my personal inner saboteur, why I derailed my own train. Anyway, so we're now talking mid-90s. We're now talking peak Newbane. This is why something like Dopesick is quite tricky for me to watch, because it's actually really accurate. It is. It's really accurate, because I mentioned the word gateway a minute ago, didn't I? I did everything that a lot of you guys have done. It's like, yeah, did I smoke some pot, and did I try to, do cigarette smoking for years and go out and get drunk? And of course I did. I did a lot of the things that a lot of you guys have done and do, which is, oh yeah, you're a bit of a part-time smoker, and that kind of got into like full-time smoking, and which is a horrible habit, and going out and getting pissed, and just getting stoned, and I did all that. That was all normal. But what I had to do, for reasons unknown, is to go harder and to go darker. So what I'm going to do tonight, because otherwise I'll be talking forever, is I'm just going to give you like an overview. So I've gone from Newbane. The next 5 years, from 95 till 2000, on the one hand, I was very, very, very lucky to be in a group of British bodybuilders that weren't just good locally, they were good globally. Okay, so because of the company I kept, because of the people I knew, because of one or two individuals that opened doors and helped me, because one thing is true of life. I was going to say it's not what it's who you blow, but it is very much anyone. Look, whether you're again, whatever you do, whether you work in an office, or you sweep the roads, or you're a painter decorator, or you're a cabbie, or you're a solicitor, a lawyer, or whatever you do, you're a personal trainer, you're whatever. Okay, it takes all sorts, and I fell in with people in British bodybuilding that were operating at a global level. And it gave me access to knowledge, personalities, substances that were not just, oh, your local gym might have this, and your local legend in her lunchtime might have this. By 97, it's safe to say, by Dorian's last, I'm going to just say Dorian because people know, who Dorian is. By Dorian's last Sandow, by his last Olympia in 97, before the reign of Ronnie in 98, I'm making these presumptions because anyone that's listened to me will know a bit about bodybuilding. I'd gone pretty deep into this world. I was starting to get ready in my head to go to America. I'd been out to LA on my own in August. Everything happened always in August. August 97 was my first trip to LA. I always went on my own, very eye-opening. And by January 2000, I was a 28-year-old guy. I was pretty much, these are my peak years, like in terms of if I was to look at myself and go, when did I really sort of become like pretty much like, yeah, that guy is a bit like fruity. It was between 28 and 35. You know what I mean? It's fair to say that. So yeah, for me, 99 rolling into 2000 through till 2007, 2006, like 5, 6, 7 years of just a really good run, where my physique, my looks, my income, everything was like, just we're on. But the deep, dark, dirty secret was I never stopped using these substances. Okay, so I'm talking about Newbane and I'm talking about other drugs that once I'd gone to America, coupled with my English knowledge, I was able to obtain a smorgasbord, a cornucopia of chemicals, a plethora, but the full gamut of gear. There was nothing. Again, I'm not bragging. I'm not giving it. Oh, yeah, Justin thought he was a bit special. No, I'm making very just black and white statements. And because of who I knew in the UK and US, I was able to access pretty much anything. It's probably not a good thing, is it? I've always had an addictive personality. So I've done 5 years of Newbane at this point, didn't stop. It's now 2000. I've moved to Venice Beach. Yeah, I moved to Venice Beach because you move to Venice Beach, don't you? It's like, where's it at? Where's the Mecca? Where's the epicenter of the world's activity for bodybuilding? And that goes, or that went, because it's all past tense now, 20 years ago, guys. 21. I first landed in Venice on my birthday. Make no mistake, 18th of Jan 2000. It's a long time ago. I was 27, 28. I'm 49 now, so this is all done. I managed to penetrate the upper echelon of professional American bodybuilding in Venice Beach, and maybe this does sound like a bit of a boast. Maybe it is a boast. I don't care. Because there were British people out there that had been there for a decade and didn't crash the party the way I did. And I suppose, listening to myself out loud now, I probably sound like a bit of a dick. But I'll take that risk because, again, I'm simply stating what happened. I don't want people to think, oh, Justin thought he was really special. No, I just managed to, maybe it's my accent, maybe it's the fact that I had lots of hair then. I don't know, but I was on a roll. I was on a roll. And I got into the highest level in terms of socializing with, knowing with, and these pros showing me their private lives. Just in the first fortnight, I'd managed to get deep, and I mean deep. In the first month, I'm so far out to sea, metaphorically speaking, and I would meet fellow Brits from all over the UK that had moved to Venice Beach and been there 6, 8, 10 years. And they'd be like, dude, how have you done this? And I just, maybe it was a blag, maybe it was right time, right place, whatever. But I did it. And of course, it involved all manner of opioids. So let me be clear. This is where I'm going to segue into Dopesick. Newbane was front and center. There was not. In fact, I'll think of the best way to say this. All right, what I'm going to say is, I'm just going to say it. There were 3 American pros that weren't using it. So it's actually faster in terms of economy of words and me doing just in anecdotes, storytelling. It's easier for me to say who didn't do it. There were 3 American pros, to my knowledge, with my eyes, my experience. Remember this, guys. Remember this. Everything I say is not something I heard. It's not what so-and-so told me. It's not what I heard sat in Firehouse restaurant on Main Street, just off Rose Avenue. Gold's Gym is on Hampton, by the way, Hampton and Rose. Well, it's actually on Hampton, but Rose runs the famous Firehouse restaurant. It's where we went to eat each day. It's where Arnold was in. Think about Pumping Iron. Think about all that era, the golden era. Anyway, and by the way, Venice is now a shithole. Venice has gone to the dogs. I was lucky. I saw the last years of Venice Beach. I'm ever so glad I did. Ever so glad I did. Because by 03, 04, it was done. Anyway, there are 3 American bodybuilders, pros at elite level, at Olympia level, that weren't using. Okay, so it's easier for me to say there's 3 that were not. Can you deduce from that that everyone else was? Yes? Good. Moving on. Through these American pros, and I'm not going to specifically mention names tonight because I'm looking at having 1 or 2 on. If yeah, because again, people when they get on in life want to give a cautionary tale. I want the message here to be positive and for people to go, oh, Justin was talking about all this stuff, and the messaging is don't do it, even if you can get hold of it, don't do it. Newbane gave way to, well, not gave way, added like a big Velcro ball, Vicodin and Percocets and my absolute granddaddy, my personal better than fentanyl, better than buprenorphine, better than hydromorphone, nabifene hydrochloride, oxynubane, oxycodone by the way is OxyContin, Oxynorm. The absolute daddy that knocked them all into next week was Dilaudid. Dilaudid. Tell you what, I'll wiki it. I've never been so close to God. Bear with me. Dilaudid. Right, what was the word you heard me say a minute ago? Hydromorphone. Guys, if you lost your leg in a car crash, God forbid tonight, your quick response paramedic, they still carry Newbane, by the way, and Newbane's given when people are in labour and giving birth, okay? I was taking it with breakfast. Again, cautionary tale, my peak use was 10 mil a day, okay? So 100 mg per mil, multi-dose, or 10 shots of. So it's a disgusting amount, okay? It's a huge amount. 10 mil a day, not 1, not 2 mil, which most people did. I was doing 10 mil. Again, it's not a boast. It's idiotic. It's imbecilic. It's stupid. Right. Dehydromorphone. Okay, this is where the buck stops, people. This is where the buck stops. You can leave your heroin at the door. You can leave your morphine at the door. You can leave your codeine and your Newbane and your Vikes and your Perks, and you can leave all that at the door. All right, and your nitrazepam and diazepam, your Valiums, your benzodiazepines. You can leave all that at the door. Thank you very much. When you're dealing with Dilaudid, Dilaudid, Dilaudid. If you're losing a limb, they're going to give you this stuff. Okay. People talk about fentanyl. Fentanyl again. I used fentanyl. It was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. Right, so hydromorphone, also known as dehydromorphone, and sold under the brand name Dilaudid. Okay, it's an opioid used to treat moderate to severe pain. Again, I'm giving an anecdote. Please don't think I'm sensationalizing any of this. Okay, I'm sorry if anything I've said offends anyone. Perhaps you should not listen or watch if you're easily offended and you're fragile. I'm deliberately being factually correct. I wouldn't be anything but. I do feel a level of responsibility. But one thing I've done, 444 times now with these live streams is to just not lie. That's it. That's all you can say. If anyone's watching this or listening to this and going, what was that bloke talking about? It's like, well, I'm just not lying, and I'm not exaggerating or embellishing or distorting or giving it the big one. This is just what I did, what I saw, what I had access to, and maybe the idiot sensation seeker in me, the addict in me. I don't know. I'm not a shrink. I'm not a, I'm not going to get into the finer points of, who, what, when, where, why. But anyway, it was brilliant, and I ended up going on some road trips just past San Diego to go to Tijuana. You can work out that one, can't you? So deluded was where the buck stops. And of course, I came back from America. I had a very good 3 years over there. And I opened my own gym in 2004. And so just to, again, to quickly summarize this, I discovered bodybuilding in 1990, 91. By 92, I was balls deep, Dorian's first year. So I was very lucky to see that whole thing. 97, I'm super deep. And by 2000, I'm in a level where people really want it. And to this day, people go to me, oh, what was so and so like, and what was so. Again, I'm being deliberately evasive about not necessarily saying any known names. I've mentioned like Dorian because it's Dorian represents British and global bodybuilding at the highest level, and he's more or less a household name now. But what Dorian does is to demonstrate the timeline, the chronological timeline, doesn't it? I mean, it proves the era I was in and what I was privy to. So I came back from America. I'm glossing over this because I want to really get into the accuracy of Dopesick. But by 2004, I'd opened my own gym. I crashed my own gym by late 06, early 07. So a very short, sad, well, glorious, short and sad ending of my workhouse gym in Chelmsford, Essex, from August 2004 through till sort of Christmas 2006, Jan 2007, around there. By March 2007, I'm so out, and it is my fault. Again, this was my doing. I brought about my own demise, and I think you can guess from my earlier admissions that it was my prioritizing financially to being a user of these opioids, like Newmain, and of course none of this shit's for free, guys. Believe me, you get. I was able to get free gear, but not free painkillers. The people that supply aren't stupid. That they know that, does someone want a bit of Deca or a bit of Dilaudid? Do you want a bit of Noadex or Newbane? It's like, not being funny. One doesn't make you sick. One doesn't make you dope sick. There you go. There's a good segue. What I mean by dope sick, just to be very clear, dope sick means that you can't go more than 8, 10, 12 hours without becoming deathly sick. And I mean deathly sick. How sick, Justin? Well, walking down the street, just diarrheaing yourself, just having cups of tea come out of you, yeah? Vomiting, sobbing, crying, shaking, shivering, pooing yourself is no joke. We're talking real acute withdrawal because you've not had a shot for 8 or 10 or God forbid 12 hours. By hour 24, you're in a very, very, very dark place. The saddest thing about addiction, and let this frighten people. I hope this frightens people because it's intended to. The saddest part of addiction is you take it to function at the end. You don't take it. Notice I've not used the language high. Notice I'm not using the words, oh yeah, I got high, man. I got stoned. I got monged out. No. None of this was about getting high. You want to get high, go and do social high drugs. Take your coke, take your speed, take your caffeine, go off and dance, go and ride your bike real fast. Yeah, this is high. Go and take a pill, do it, whatever. Just that's going high. Now these things anesthetized you. These are sedatives. These are opioid analgesic sedatives. These mong you out. You are anesthetized to the point where emotional and physical pain is gone. You are enveloped in a warm blanket duvet of joy, of just literal heaven on earth. let me be very, very clear now. This might upset people, but it's true. When you've had your first shot of Nubane and or Dilaudid and or OxyContin, if someone walked into the room and said, "Hey, Bob, your dog's dead, your girlfriend's dead, your parents are dead, your house is on fire, and your bank account is depleted. You have nothing. You have no job, no parents, no bird, no cat. It's gone. It's gone. Your life has been extinguished." You would look at that person and go, "All right." That's what it does to you. Be really, really clear on this, okay? When you are under the influence, when you're really under the influence, like I say, of Bane, Dilaudid, Oxy, you are so removed from reality. Strangely operational, by the way. Strangely operational because you could conduct. I was giving seminars, for goodness sake. I was teaching clients 72 a week, make no mistake. It's 10 a day, guys. I taught 10 a day, 5 a.m., 5 p.m. I split my days, 7-day weeks, 72 clients a week, 68 to 72 clients a week for years under the influence of the chemicals I've named. That's how I think Bill Hicks did a great bit about this, the late great Bill Hicks, comedian. People talk about, so and so's a drug addict, so and so's a junkie. So there's a word. So and so's a junkie, so and so's a stoner. What a loser. Let's be clear. That's the media painting a train spotting picture of the small percentage of people that look sick, that get strung out. And guys, I was a 280 to 300 pound bodybuilder all the time. I had a crazy physique. I had a good physique, okay? It wasn't a Flex Wheeler or Dorian Yates. Let's get really clear, But for a 6'5" Englishman, yeah, my physique was rather good, okay? Not, Justin's in the lineup next to Jay Cutler and no. But anyway, I did. Okay, I had a physique to be proud of, and I ran that physique for a good 17 years high end, 7 years really high end, 27-year career total. All right, 27 years all in. 1990 early beginnings, 2017 done. I've been gone 4 years now. So anyway, officially retired 2007. 1st of April 2007 is when I retired from bodybuilding, like proper. Yeah, I was a very, very functional addict. So moving on, when I had my spine tumour, my giant cell tumour, a very aggressive cancerous spine tumour in 2009, which resulted in the loss of 2 vertebrae, 3 discs, 2 ribs, L2 root nerve. Took me 14 months to learn to walk again, 12 months convalescence on my back. To this day, I've got no feeling below the waist. I can walk, I can stand. Obviously, I can't run or jump, and I can't walk fast, but I still can't feel the floor, can't feel my feet, can't feel my dick, can't feel, yeah, it's done, it's gone. Ejaculation, anejaculation, and retrograde ejaculation. So no sperm for me. No, not just firing blanks. No, nothing comes out. It's gone. It's done. It's finished. It doesn't occur in me. There is no more sperm. It's gone. Okay, that's what having a spine tumor does. Okay, 16 hours and 48 minutes under the knife, so just shy of 17 hours. And a litre of blood given to me every hour. So 500 mils of blood every 30 minutes for the duration of, and that was embolized. Like, it's a huge operation. 17 inches of metalwork in my spine, okay? So 24 vertebrae in your back, 7 cervical, that's neck, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar. 7, 12 and 5 is 24, say it with me. 7 neck, cervical, 12 thoracic, middle, 5 lumbar. My L2, L3 done, 3 discs gone, 2 vertebral bodies gone, massive pathological tumour that caused a fracture of the L2 vertebrae, and it jumped out and it pinched my spinal cord. It's called cauda equina, Latin for horse's tail, causing paralysis of the lower body. The prognosis for me was that to not succumb to it, I was initially 166, say it with me, 166 days in a hospital. Why am I giving all this information? Because it led to the prescribing of OxyContin, yes? So after years of Nubain, etc., I've now gone and had this dirty great tumour, nothing to do with bits and pieces, guys, just bad luck. I've had this massive life-changing event, and the only drug they give when you're dealing with that much pain is oxycodone, okay? And again, that's the generic, that's the chemical name. The brand names are OxyContin, continuous, and Oxynorm is the quick one, the acute, short release. So it's 2000. I haven't, like I say, I'm not here to go into the medical injuries because I almost lost my leg 1st of April 2007. We know this stuff, but it's why I was given extra painkillers on top of my history, because I was dealing with the spine tumour and the subsequent pain. So come 09, I'm now stuck on OxyContin. Yes, I now leave the NOC, which is the Nuffield Orthopaedic Centre in Oxford, had the surgery at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, here in England. I now leave when my beloved bro came to pick me up, already addicted, because you can't, for functionality, leave that degree of trauma and not be addicted to what they've just scripted you, which is OxyContin. Suffice to say, the next 6 years, I'm stuck on that. So all told up, guys, I've had 22 years opioid experience, and that's probably at 57 minutes, not a bad place to leave it tonight. Okay, as per usual, every live stream I do doesn't entirely go to plan. I've got on my lap here, I've got this, look. And I only looked down at it at the very beginning just to check my own description of making the, as a reference point, the difference between an opioid and an opiate. You know, a natural derivative versus a man synthesized version of. Obviously the former being an opiate, you know, your poppy seed, your opium, versus an opioid, which is what I'm discussing. You know, your opioid is obviously your Nubain, your Dilaudid and everything else, and your Oxy. And that's what Dopesick is about. Dopesick is about exclusively and explicitly OxyContin. And the OxyContin epidemic. So I've lived through 2 real epidemics of a substance, a drug, a chemical, overrunning communities. The first one in 95 through till 05, that decade, Nubain, just ravaged bodybuilding. Speak to anyone, don't take my word for it, speak to anyone from the 90s and say, did you get involved with or hear about Nubain? And they will give you a cautionary tale. Probably not as severe as this, but anyway, it is what it is. So that decade, gone, okay? And then you're going, of course, the next, you know, sort of dozen years for me, still battling on off that. And the absurdity is, here's the definition of perversity. What actually finished me off, what actually caused me, this is on my NHS letters. This is the actual, I've always been very clear about this. When I actually had, because you have to have chronic kidney disease, CKD, to get AKF, acute kidney failure. You can't just go, oh, I've got a, think about it, you know, you can't just wake up and go, oh, I've got acute kidney failure. You have to have chronic kidney disease. You have to be chronically unwell to become acutely unwell, right? So when my kidneys failed, they failed because of my extreme Nurofen use in my attempts to rid myself of, air quotes, the hard stuff. I would go to OTC, over the counter, pharmacies and get Nurofen Plus. And I took for several years Nurofen Plus like they were going out of fashion, just like, oh, 8 here, 10 here, 8 here, 10 here, throughout the day, especially when there were droughts of Nubane. Because I didn't want to experience withdrawal, because for functionality reasons, for professional reasons, my career, teaching, I had to keep up appearances. I couldn't afford to A, run out, or B, go into withdrawal. This is to my earlier point. You take these things for functionality, not to get, air quotes, high, not for, air quotes, to get monged out. You take them in the end just to be. Yes? To put your shoes on. To be. That's the tragedy here. And I speak for many. You don't take it in the end to go, oh, what a great hit, man. Because that goes. I mean, you get a little one, but you're not getting the same. Don't kid yourselves. You're not getting the same hit on year 6 that you got on month 6 or day 6. You're not, because you're tolerant. You all know this. You all know this. From your first cigarette to your 10th year, from your first pint to your... come on, you know this. Anyway, I'll leave it there tonight. In fact, why don't I make this a part 2? Why don't I do the second half tomorrow night? Because as you can probably tell, here I am, 61 minutes in. I've barely scratched the surface. I certainly haven't looked down at my notes. It's very rare for me to use notes. I hope it's been informative. I hope it's been educational. I hope if anyone listens to this, or look, if you think I'm a prick, if you think, oh my God, that bloke's an absolute tool, cool. All right, cool. Okay, but the messaging here is, please, please, I implore you, don't do this. If by some ridiculous reason Nubane got back on the market, don't take it. If someone offers you Dilaudid, don't take it. If they offer you an Oxy, don't try it. Okay? Because 1 leads to day 2, leads to day 3, leads to I'll do it at the weekends, leads to, oh my God, I can't get throughout, I can't do 8 hours, I can't do 10 hours without this. Because you become deathly sick. And that is Dopesick. It is a true story. The Sackler family did invent this with Purdue. Obviously, Nubane was DuPont and Oxy is Purdue. These are the big fat cat farmers. And Michael Keaton's portrayal of the doctor who becomes an addict, we are talking pill mills here, guys, is extremely accurate. Whoever's done the research for Dopesick, they've spoken to real addicts. As a surviving addict, I'm not being dramatic, as a survivor, after my 2 heart attacks, after my spine cancer, after my kidney failure, after almost losing that leg, excuse me, ironically, I'm the healthiest I've been for 14 years. I'm the healthiest I've been for a long time. So the takeaway tonight, and I hope it's been helpful to somebody, if one person has listened to this and gone, oh, I listened to that Justin bloke, and he was talking a lot of stuff, but a couple of things he said made me really think about not trying this, whatever. If your thing is Valium, don't do it. If your thing is, opioid analgesics, don't do them. If your thing, guys, is codeine / Nurofen, please don't do it. Because again, ironically, if there's anything that will finish you, and I mean finish you, I mean, guys, 4 years of dialysis isn't fun. I mean, you know what this is, don't you? You've all seen, I mean, you can, I can barely show it. You can all see here what this is on my wrist. That's my fistula from 4 years of dialysis. And yes, of course I have. Some people call it a badge of honour. It's not a badge of honour. It's not a badge of honour. The marks you get on your arms, they never go. They never go. All right? Again, anyone that's done this, they never go. You live with the shame. you live with the regret, and you live with the self-loathing. All I'm trying to do, without being sensational or hyperbolic, is to say to people, I did this. Of course I'm flawed. Of course I regret it. Of course I'm sorry. I will be sorry for fucking ever, won't I? Think about it. You know, I've blown opportunities. I've blown money. I've blown relationships. I've buried friends. That's the cautionary tale. Do not under any circumstance, if you're like, oh, I've got a bad back, I've got a bad knee, go another route. Have a massage, do a sauna, go swimming, go stretch, anything but this route, please, please. And on that, without getting too emotional, I'm going to step off. That's 65 minutes. I'm going to say goodnight. The groundswell behind this, the motivating factor behind this stream tonight has been Dopesick. Do watch Dopesick on Disney. Michael Keaton, it's episode 4 is up now. I believe it's an eight episode series. It is accurate, it's historically accurate. The Sackler family are literal evil incarnate. I hope tonight has been informative, and it's just food for thought. Okay, so that being said, this has been episode 445. I'm Justin House. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I'm going to stick to that. Actually, I'm going to stick to that. All right, I have put it on Insta and Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I need to focus more on Twitch. Anyway, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. So I'll be back on Friday, episode 446. Same time, same place, same face. Thank you for listening.